Whenever we see the word or read the word chain of custody, its immediate reflection is the sequence of custodian of an material or an evidence at particular time period. A few questions may be asked to clear this concept, such as what is the chain of custody, what is its importance in legal system, and where does chain of custody is complementary to maintain, how to maintain chain of custody, why legal system need scientific approach to maintain the integrity of the evidence. We will answer this question, but before going to the answer, I would like to let you know what we will discuss in our today lecture, such as first we will define the chain of custody, then does the try to clear the concept, and we will let you understand the chain of custody form. Then what are the stages that are complementary, or at where we have to work to maintain the chain of custody, its role in legal system, and what are the effects if we are unable to maintain COC. Here does we have an example from the historical, a famous historical case from the American history. And then the current status of COC in Pakistan, then the current status of COC in Pakistan, and some other areas where COC find its importance to be maintained. Now, toward the answer. The simple way to answer the above said question is recording of the evidence keeping from its seizure of the evidence to final decision by the court after analysis by the lab. It is important as it enhances the evidential value of a material object, and any legal matter requires to be maintained authenticity of the evidence. We can define it as the process of chronological sequence of evidence collection, custody, the control, and the transfer and analysis of evidence, uh, including physical and electrical evidence. Now, to make it clear, the concept of COC, we will have a few discussion over here. It is the scientific ability to trace back and safeguard the evidence through all the steps from collection, analysis to final report and storage of the evidence. Every time the possession of the evidence would change, it would be required to record it. Uh, for the record purpose of the recording, we will maintain or document the possession, the purpose of the possession, and date, time, and location of possession, the condition at which the evidence have been stored, and the also the conditions which were maintained while transporting the evidence from one place to another. It may be from the police station toward the laboratory, or from lab toward police station, or from police station to the court, at the demand of the court, when court required to the evidence to be presented in front of the judiciary. The important thing of this is that an evidence of an item of evidence must always be in the physical custody of an identifiable, legally authorized person. It cannot be handled by any person who have not been legally authorized to handle it. Here is a chain of custody form. Left side, it shows how the custodian have been maintained. You can see it shows received by the person receiving, and date and time. And at the middle of this form, it Give answer a few questions such as what is the evidence, how did you get it, where it was collected, who have handled it, why did that person handled it, where was it stored, what was the mode of transportation, how it was tracked, and the who has access to the evidence. To answer, these are the crucial questions to be answered while seizing an item of evidential value that may be later on presented in the court as an evidence to prove or disprove any happening. Now, the stages which find its crucial role are at which we have to maintain the chain of custody at any cost. First of all, where the crime have occurred or the physical location of a crime. When you search for the evidence, you have to maintain or document every step you take at the crime scene. Um, what are the item of evidential value? How who have collected? From where it was collected? What was the time? What was the physical condition of the evidence? How it was preserved for the lab analysis? And then what was the mode of transportation, how it was transported from the crime scene to the police station. The second stage is who handled or who received the evidence from the IO at the police station, and at what how long it was stored over there before sending it to the uh, forensic laboratory for analysis. At the receiving evidence receiving unit in forensic lab, here also the evidence receiving person will maintain its record, the condition of receiving the evidence, and the analysis request, or the docket may be received with the road certificate, so that its legal authenticity can be verified by receiving the evidence and sending it to the laboratory. During the analysis, the each and every step would be documented, from ranging from the mode of analysis, the methodology used, person who was analyzing, the person who was reviewing the analysis and preparing the report, review the report, and then final dispatching it to the concerned police station. After the forensic report have been received by the police station, it would be submitted to the judiciary for the in front of the judge for judicial trial. If the judge required the evidence to be presented, then the police is bound to present it in front of the judge. So evidence chain of custody would should be maintained, so that after uh, judgment, some higher judge may ask for a follow-up analysis. So chain of custody must not be broken. What would happen if it were COC would be compromised? If COC is compromised, no analysis for the sample would be performed, because if COC is compromised, then analysis would be wasted. For the sample whose seal is damaged or not available, the analysis would not be performed. If COC form not maintained at the during the collection of the evidence, then the analysis of the evidence would be just a waste of effort and resources. Data of evidence and form do not match, or if initials on the temporary tape not done, or overlapping or misleading information is present uh, on the information page, then the analysis must be stopped. Here is an example of a notorious case from the American history, where O.J. Simpson murdered his ex-wife Nicole Brown and his friend Ronald Goldman in 1994. It found O.J. Simpson was a football player, so he has a huge fan following, who was a problem for the government to run the trial against O.J. Simpson. And the defense of Simpson created doubt of COC was not properly maintained. That was a plea for him. It was a blood sample in possession of multiple IOs, but for various time period or time length without chain of custody form. That was the actual problem. That was the actual problem who disturbed this case. Now we will have an overview of the current status of COC in Pakistan. Forensic agency is struggling hard to implement the SOPs and to make the concerned agencies and police officials to have practice accordingly, so that evidence must be used forensically. But judiciary at some stages needs some more training regarding the evidential utility and the value of the evidence in particular case trials. Fortunately, some institutions of police have taken it serious, but still some areas find room for improvement. Here are some cases other than crime scene where chain of custody is complementary to be maintained, such as whenever an athlete need to be tested for controlled drugs, then chain of custody is a legal requirement to be maintained. Or if we are tracing food products to ensure authenticity and ethical source of the food particle, the chain of custody is essential. In research involving the use of animal to ensure the animals were ethically sourced and humanly treated, COC is required. In clinical trials of new drugs and vaccines, COC is crucial. In establishing provenance, proof of authenticity, and timeline of the ownership and location of arts, of antiques and rare documents, stamps, and coins. The other area is tracing missing letters, parcels, or other postal products. COC is required. In the procurement of drugs used for execution by lethal injections, in the seizure of valuable item by customs, income tax, and revenue department. In short, we can say that COC would be required where any of the legal matter is involved, or we have to answer authenticity of a product is required, then COC would be helpful. Thank you so much. Please subscribe our channel for more updates. Allah Hafiz.